The Monster of Canterlot, Chapter 39. Chris, are you alright? Chris! Rainbow shouted at me from a meter overhead me and the cloud she had used to catch me. It was currently resting just above the ground in Sweet Apple Acres. I took a mental inventory of all the parts I could feel. They were all there, and, from what I could tell, intact. I think so, Dash, thanks to you. What about you, miss? I asked as I opened my wings and arms so as to clearly see the living missile. Yeah, I'm okay. I wanted to ask if that were really true, because her eyes made it look like she had some serious head trauma. Derpy, what are you doing out here? Rainbow Dash asked. I was supposed to deliver a package to Granny Smith. I guess I was going too fast and flew right into the prince. I'm awfully sorry about that. That's alright. Thanks to Rainbow, there was no harm done. Although, what happened to your delivery? What in tarnation is going on over here? Applejack came trotting over to where the three of us were recovering. First this box comes crashing through the barn, and then Fluttershy floats down and won't stop babbling about something. She figured it out as soon as she saw us. Oh, never mind. I'm really sorry, Applejack. Derpy apologized again. Now don't you fret none, Sugarcube. Accidents happen. I'm just glad no pony was hurt. Wait, where's Fluttershy? I asked as we all looked around to find her. We all looked over to Big Macintosh, whom I had only met a few times before. He nodded his head back in the direction of the barn and started to walk in that direction. We all followed. Once inside, we were greeted with the sight of the only haystack with a pink tail. The hay was also muttering to itself. What is she doing in there? Rainbow Dash asked. I don't really know. She came, flew down here, and started babbling on about something or other, and now she's in there. Fluttershy, come out of there. We heard another one of those cute little whimpers of hers, and the tail was pulled in a little further. I think this is my fault, I said. Why? What did you do to her? Rainbow Dash asked, with a hint of accusation in her voice. We may have accidentally, kissed. Altogether, minus one baritone stallion. What? There was another whimper, and the tail completely disappeared into the haystack. Well, we were flying around, and I said that I could see Manhattan from where we were. She came over to see for herself. We just so happened to turn our heads at the same time and kinda met in the middle. That's also about the time I met Miss Derpy here. Hello, Derpy contributed with a wave of her hoof. I see. Applejack started, ignoring the chuckling Rainbow Dash. Then it seems like an innocent accident. Chris, why don't you take Derpy and Rainbow Dash back into town with you while I see to Fluttershy? Alright. I knelt down. Hop on, Derpy. Yay! She shouted and climbed up on my back, draping her hooves over my shoulders and sitting on my arms so I crossed behind my back, making sure to tuck in her tail for decency. Hey, what about me? Rainbow whined. Derpy slid over and made room for her. Oh, right! She flopped onto my back with nearly enough force to knock me over. We all laughed as I stood and started back toward town with my cargo. Once I was gone, Applejack addressed her brother. Big Mac, why don't you go bring Granny's package inside for her? Yup. Once he was gone, Applejack began to talk to the haystack. Well, how was it? Hay flew up into the air and a tiny little whimper came soon after. Applejack chortled. I'm happy to hear it. Once I reached town with my two passengers, Rainbow Dash left us to tend to some personal business, which Twilight told me meant she was going to take a nap in a tree somewhere. Derpy led me to her house. The whole time we were walking, she was telling me about her job as a delivery mare. She used to work as a mail mare, but had lost too many letters. Derpy then told me that she had tried to work for the moving company before that, but had dropped too many precious items. Then she started to tell me about her little filly. And little Dinky is smart too. She's way smarter than her mommy, that's for sure. Aw, Derpy, she sounds precious. I hope I can meet her soon. She should be home from school now. Would you like to come inside? I would like that very much, Miss Derpy, though I can't stay long. I have to meet Twilight for my lessons. Okay. Oh, and you can just call me Derpy. Every pony else does. If you insist. Is this it here? I pointed to a home that was slightly smaller than the average Ponyville home, but it was kept clean and in very good shape. It was clearly a home filled with love. That's my house. I knelt down and Derpy slid off my back. Please, come in. The moment the door was opened, a unicorn filly with a grayish-purple coat and two-tone blonde mane with golden eyes launched out through it. Mommy! Dinky, I'm so happy to see you. Oh, and we have a guest. Really? Who? The little pony was clearly the daughter of this friendly mare, looked up at me, gasped, and dropped to the floor in a bow. Prince Christopher! Derpy seemed to suddenly realize that she had yet to bow to me, and followed her daughter's example. Now, none of that. Please, get up. I'll not have a pony bowing to me in their own home. Besides, I never really liked the whole bowing stuff anyways. The two ponies stood back up. Now, shall we go in? That is, if you two would still have me as your guest. They invited me in and showed me to the living room. There, I got to have a conversation with little Dinky while her mom prepared some tea and muffins. Her mom was right. The little filly was as smart as she was cute. For some reason, being there in that cozy home, filled with so much love, with these two ponies, made me think about having foals of my own someday. For once, I didn't feel like it was some impossible dream. I was enjoying my time with these two ponies, but I did have other appointments to keep. I looked out the window, and judging by the shadow's angles, and using the skills taught to me by Celestia, an hour had passed. I had to leave. Well, Derpy, Dinky, I hate to do this, but I must go. You have been a gracious host, and I thank you for welcoming me into your home. Next time you're in Canterlot, feel free to stop by the palace, and I'll make sure you two are treated very well. Oh, thank you very much. Come by any time. Derpy waved goodbye to me, knocking over her fourth item since I've arrived. It's no wonder why the first spell Dinky had learned was a repair spell. There were also far fewer things in the home that could readily break, more wood and less glass or crystal. I smiled and waved back. I just may do that. Take care of your mommy, Dinky. I will, Chris. Bye-bye. I let myself out and proceeded to the library. You're late, Twilight growled. You've thrown off my whole schedule, and now I have to do it all over again. No need to thank me. Thank you? You're welcome. I know how much you enjoy making schedules and lists. Twilight was about to protest again, but after a moment's consideration, realized I was right. Whatever. Shall we get started? I took my ring from my pocket and slid it on. Yes, I believe we shall. Good, because we need to teach you more powerful spells. While levitation is all well and good, you would need to be lifting multiple items nearly all day long to get enough magic out. Today, I think we'll try another simple, yet very useful offensive spell. A magic shock cannon. Very basic stuff, but dangerous with high power levels. Wait, you're going to teach me how to blast ponies with my magic? I'm not certain I want to do that. I understand your hesitation, seeing as who raised you, but if you had this ability a month ago, Chrysalis never would have... She stopped because all the color had drained from my face and my skin became clammy. I'm sorry to bring that up, Chris, but it's true. I suppose you're right, but why are we doing something so high-powered so soon? To be honest, it was Luna's idea. She seems to think that if we can lower your power enough, then maybe she can enter your dreams and help with your nightmares. Really? Excellent! Teach me, oh wise master! Twilight giggled. Very well, my eager little student. Now, pay attention. We spent several hours working on pulling my magic into my core and concentrating it. Then, she taught me how to force it all through the ring. At first, I only managed to pop my knuckles without flexing any fingers. After a few more hours, and some very strong shielding, I had finally managed to release a blast. After a few more attempts, I was able to loose a near-lethal shot. If I had actually hit a pony with it, they would have had to spend a few days in the hospital. Excellent work, Chris. Now, after dinner, I want you to get ready for bed, then release as much energy as you can. Remember, the less energy you have, the easier it will be for Luna to enter your dreams. Alright, anything else? Yes. Applejack will be along shortly with a spare mattress of hers. Luna will be coming by shortly, and Bunny and Cotton are still using yours. So you will be on the first floor of the loft so that Luna can move about freely while the rest of us can be up above and out of the way. After dinner, I did exactly as instructed. I went up to the observation deck at the very top of the library so as to avoid as many walls, roofs, and property damage as possible. For a moment, I simply stared at my ring and spun it on my finger. It was all so strange to me. 1 month ago, I was a normal human with no means, no magic, a normal lifespan, and then I died. I died and was brought back to life by my adoptive equine mother and her sister. Now I had to drain so much magic that I can barely stand upright so that some other sapient being could enter my dreams and fight off my nightmares. If I had told any other human about this back on Earth, I would have been locked away. Thanks to my new visual acuity, I could actually see Luna's chariot lifting off from the palace. Well, no time like the present. I raised my hand to the sky and forced as much magic as I could to flow through it and into the heavens. I had managed to keep it going for some time, nearly as long as it took Luna to reach the library. But I had reached my limit. My knees nearly gave out as I ended my spell. "Whoa, I got you," Twilight said as she held me up with her telekinesis. "Let's get you downstairs." Carefully, she took me down to the loft and laid me on my mattress. "For what it's worth, I'm proud of you." I reached up and scratched Twilight behind her ear and smiled. My energy drained, I deflated onto my bed, so I just able to keep my eyes open. "Chris!" Cotton yelled and galloped over and threw herself across my chest. Is he going to be okay?" Bunny asked. "He should be," Twilight said as she pulled the covers up to where Cotton was still lying across my ribcage. She was doing all she could to hide her nervousness. If this didn't work, who knew how long I would be haunted by my dreams. There was a loud thump on the balcony, signaling Luna's arrival. She had taken her chariot, but still preferred the personal touch of entering this way. She said it made her feel more like family. "You put on quite the show, Christopher. I could see it all the way from the palace." She then saw my motionless form. "Oh, Christopher, what have you done?" Luna floated over and laid on the floor next to me. "He drained as much magic as he could, just like we planned. You said that was your best chance at getting into his dreams," Twilight answered for me. "Yes, but he has almost none left. Any more and he would have been on the threshold of a coma." "Oh, dear nephew, how desperate you must be." Luna kissed my cheek. "Ladies, I hate to do this, but I must ask you to please give us space. I shall now begin." Once Cotton was pried off of me and the other two mares retreated back to their own beds, Luna started her spell. In my weakened state, I didn't stay long in the land of the awake. She towered over me once again, smiling, laughing, reveling in my pain. "No! No! Not again!" I screamed to the cave ceiling. "Please! Some pony! Can you hear me? Won't some pony save me?" The spirit began its descent as it always had. I wanted to curl up into a little ball and beg for my mommy more than I ever had in my life. Either of my lives, for that matter. I was just about to surrender myself to my standard whimpering mess as I had done every time prior, when something changed. I waited for the spirit to make contact, waited for the pain and the cold, waited for it to start over again and again. But it didn't. I dared to look up at the giant queen of the changelings. She was still there, but she wasn't the same. Her shell was cracking. A blue light was shining from within as her exoskeleton expanded more and more until eventually I dove to the stone floor as pieces exploded past my head. "There you are!" I looked up into the blue eyes of my beloved aunt. Tears flowed down my cheeks as I stumbled in my mad rush to embrace her. I clung tightly to her neck and held on for dear life. "I thought it didn't work. I thought I was going to lose my mind. You have no idea what it was like." "Not exactly, but I know what it is like to have a nightmare haunt you." Slowly, the chamber began to brighten up and the ceiling started to peel back. Grass sprung up from the floor as the stones sunk into the soil. I looked around and was elated to see we were outside Ponyville. The only thing that stood out was the human woman standing on a hilltop. She was wearing a yellow dress that came down to her ankles, pink shoes, and a pink sun hat. I couldn't see her hair or her face. I could tell she had a near-perfect body, and I could smell buttercups. "Who is she?" I asked Luna as I pointed to our mystery guest. "I do not know. She's a creation of your mind, not mine." "Really? But I don't know any human woman, and she doesn't look like Mom's dream figure, nor yours. She also doesn't look like my human mother. Why is she here?" That is a good question. Perhaps, whoever she is, she makes you feel safe. After all, she only showed up when your tormentor was removed. Perhaps you know her, but do not recognize her. We both looked back at the strange figure. She started to turn, but just before we could see her face, the world faded away. When I awoke, I was a new man.